people of YouTube, Srsly here, and today I'm going to be taking you up to and through the Rotten. And without further ado, let's get going. So, immediately, what you want to do is equip the Silver Cat Ring, which you just bought from Sakwa in the last episode, and you want to use a human effigy if you're not human already, and heal yourself up to max using your, your life gems, of course, and then you want to drop down onto the first platform. Heal up. Drop down again, and just keep dropping down to the bodies, basically. They're very good indicators as to where to go. Remember that you can equip some of your armor and weapons if you want to, so that way you'll have less fall damage upon impact. Okay, make sure to light and rest at this bonfire to get your Srsly excuses back, and so that way you can respawn here upon returning. And then you want to keep going down. If you run to this platform over here, you should just barely survive. Yep. Keep going forward, and there are a number of things down here that you want to obtain. The first of which being the Ashen Knuckle Ring, which is in that chest just across here. It's quite a difficult jump, but if you give it a try or two, then it shouldn't pose itself to be too bad. So, first try. You'll be needing this for the optional boss that I'm going to be taking you through after we make our way back to the bonfire. Well, that didn't exactly go as planned. That's alright. Oh yes, it's important to note that you can't cancel Estus Flask consumption, or any healing items in this game. Which is unfortunate, considering things like that happen where you see an enemy coming at you, and yet you can't do anything to stop it. Ring of the Evil Eye that I just picked up. I was considering whether or not to mention it, because it's something you'll never need to use, is a ring that, upon killing an enemy, will restore a small amount of your health. And although you'll likely never use it, it can be used in areas you're having to kill large amounts of enemies. Large amounts of weaker enemies, like, say, hollows. But since every enemy past this point is likely going to be easily dispatched, and there will be a bonfire nearby, or it will be a larger enemy, tougher to kill, then it's really not a very good ring past this point. Alright, once you have your Sublime bonus, teleport back. You need not recover your Srsly excuses. The next bonfire is right up ahead. Oh, yes, of course. Might as well use your Ferrous Lockstone while you're here. There'll be a number of rats that'll swarm you, so you have to either kill them or do this beforehand. Now you can just run past them. Additionally, there's a gate right up there that you can lower by using another Ferrous Lockstone in the area directly above here, but I find it's much easier to do it here because if you should happen to get swarmed by rats, then you can always just back up to the area with the giant pit in the middle, which is a lot easier to defend than that area right there where you have a hallway and you're surrounded. Anyways, bonfire is right up ahead, and with that will be another optional boss. Now you notice there's nothing in there, but actually the boss will enter as soon as you enter in, and it's not just a single boss, there are quite a few enemies, which could technically count as the boss. It's really up to you. You'll see what I mean in just a second. Equip the Ash Knuckle ring in place of the Silver Cat ring, and prepare to fight the boss. Now these enemies are very, very fast, and will almost certainly hit you if you don't have your shield up. See right there, they got me almost as soon as I made myself available. So you can either dodge roll like mad, or you can just have your shield up and intercept them in exchange for slightly increased endurance to hit them with. Alright, as soon as you see the health bar, run over to here. Let your endurance charge up to max, and then put as many attacks as you can into this strange rat. As soon as it's dead, the boss is done. This here is the King of the Rats, who you can talk to and enter his covenant, and offer the rat tail that you just obtained, but I don't do that. Oh yes, nearly forgot. Make sure to equip your Silver Cat ring as soon as you finish the boss. Otherwise, you'll have a very tough time with these next coming areas. There's a bleed stone over here, and you can drop down and kill, once you obtain that item over there, kill those exploding enemies from earlier. These exploding enemies can actually be used to kill the knight over there, who's already dead and will be for the remainder of the run, but I find that interesting that there is friendly fire among these things. Once the chest is open, head into the adjacent path, and you will now see some of the most annoying things in the game, these statues. If you stand in front of them, they'll shoot poison at you. So make sure to not stand in the general location of where they're facing, because you will almost certainly get hit by their poison attack, even if you are running very quickly. Or even if you are running, then they will, although they don't pre-fire, they will most likely hit you because of just how fast their attacks are. Okay, for this you have to locate this little corner right there next to that big beam, roll to it. Roll through these spots, pick up the stuff from the body. Ignore this guy, he won't get aggroed unless you open this chest right there. And there's nothing that's worth it in the chest, so he can remain as is. That's yet another Estus Flash Shard. And up here is a rope that you can slide down. Additionally, the area directly under the rope is it has another body with it has a pot with another body in it, but you don't need to worry about that, as it's only a weapon that you'll probably never be using. Basically, the lightning longsword is perhaps one of the best, if not the best. Well, likely not the best, but definitely one of the best starting items, or starting weapons in the game. What's imbued, or infused in this game. Once you make it to the bonfire over here, make sure to rest. You should still have your torch. You want to equip all of your armor all of your rings, except for your silver cat ring. Roll past the statue, drop down here, drop attack the enemy who's waiting for you. Appreciate them hitboxes, and roll down. There should be a few pots over here that you can roll from. If you had all of your armor equipped, okay, then you would immediately, it would most likely break, because that substance within the pots breaks armor and rings. But your silver cat ring and your sword and shield don't have nearly that little durability, so it's not a problem. Once you're here, you want to re-equip all of your armor. And all of your rings as well. And just keep rolling. Okay. Now then, there's a small platform right here, just after the area where the rocks jut out. You can drop down to where Lucatiel is going to be. If you talk to her, then she'll give you a human effigy. And now you want to break these statues, because they will shoot at you if you try to jump over to where I'm going. Face the area over there, and jump to it. It's likely you'll get hit, but that's no matter. If you do get poisoned, just keep going. You really only need to be over here. Oh dear. Awfully aggressive. So I was invaded by a dark spirit, which is not a player. So, here he is. It's nice how you don't have to worry about anything else in this room. None of the poison turrets or other enemies. He does do a substantial amount of damage though. So be very careful. Remember that two-handed heavy attacks will stun lock all dark spirits, so make sure to use that to your advantage. If you do happen to get poisoned, use one of the poison mushrooms that you've likely obtained up to this point. And prepare to fight the Rotten. Alright. Rotten has a few attacks. There's that one they just used where he slams his butcher's knife on the ground twice and then does a wide sweep. There's that one where he vomits poison, which is easily avoided by simply walking around. There's a grab attack, which can be avoided by rolling backwards out of the way at the last second. It's a rather precise jump, so it's better to just roll away in preparation for it. He does that, a very wide sweep. He has a few magic attacks where he'll slam his butcher's knife on the ground and create a small AoE which does not penetrate through your endurance bar, meaning you can intercept it no matter how little endurance you still have. There's this one. Creates an AoE around himself, and which He also does that where he lunges, again, just roll out of the way. And he also has that, well, he has the AoE that I briefly touched on, but immediately changed subjects from, which you can avoid by just rolling out of the way behind you. The number one rule for the Rat is to not intercept attacks with your shield, but to make sure to block them, well, not block them, but to roll out of the way from them. Because if you try to block them, then it's likely you have no endurance left to attack him, and then you'll have no endurance later to avoid his attacks. His attacks are very easily read, so it shouldn't be a problem when you when you make sure to roll out of the way. Alright, once at the primal bonfire, warp back to the far fire and level up, and I will show you the location of 2 Srs shards before the conclusion of the video. Oops, wrong one. You have to level up vitality to 27. Doing so will allow you to equip the Drang Lake armor so without any problems. Alright. Alright, and things betwixt. We've already passed by this, but there was a statue that you can use a Fragrant Branch of Yore on, which will, once you run past it, allow you to obtain an Srs shard. There's a similar statue over just outside No Man's Wharf in the partially flooded area, which I told you to ignore, which has another Srs shard. Down this completely rotted log. None of the enemies here do too much damage, so you can just run right through them. Alright, once you've done all that, and kick down the rotted tree at the end, use Onward Bone to return, so that way you can warp over to the No Man's Wharf bonfire. So on the right-hand side of the partially flooded area is the area with the statue and a number of enemies. There's another one of those giant-eyed frog creatures and a number of hollows that you'll need to kill. You only really need to kill the giant frog thing before you go in and petrify the statue, because these things cannot attack you while you're unpetrifying enemies or friends. It's probably the game's way of making sure that such an invaluable and rare item doesn't go to waste. Alright, there's also a chest over here which gives you knight armor, but isn't terribly important since the Drang Lake armor set is better. And once you've done that, warp back to Majula and give the Emerald Herald all 4 of your Srs shards. Or in this case, I suppose I have 3. since I believe I've already given her one. Yep.
Is that however?
Additionally, you should also have a sublime bone dust that you can throw into the fire from the warrior at the bottom of the pit just past the optional boss. And with that is the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, learned something, and make sure to check back in next time where I'll be going through the entirety of the path up to Duxir Freja through the Brightstone Cave. Until then.